Hi guys, so this is a follow-up from the video that I put on a few days ago, which was entitled, Is My Home Haunted? If you haven't seen it, just go underneath, look at my videos on my profile, find that, watch it, and then it brings you up to speed. So this is kind of a part 2. So when I put that video on, a few people commented, and I had one comment saying, why don't you look into it about your home and whatnot. So I thought, well, how do I go about that? I don't know what to do. Anyway, I decided, as I live in a town called Hyde, and I went onto Facebook, and there's a Hyde Past and Present page. So I went on there and I put a status on there. I didn't go into detail, obviously, because there's thousands of people on it. I just asked if anyone knew when the houses were built around here. And there were a couple of comments. One of them said the houses were built in the 1800s, and years ago when I was a kid, there used to be a factory across the road. So where I live, there's a church at the end of my street, a massive church. Facing it was a company, a big factory called Ashton Brothers. And apparently they owned all the coal mines at the back of my house, and they had all these houses built for their workers. So I'm on a group chat with my sisters, and my sister Nikita, she put it on there. She was like, did you know about this kind of thing? And I didn't know that where I live, there's a load of land at the back of me. And I remember as a kid, I remember there used to be kind of factories there, but run down, and I didn't know, obviously as a kid, I didn't know what they were. And at the end of my street used to be a pub called the Flowery Field, which, as I believe, was quite a rough pub back in the day, but now it's apartments. Anyway, my sister had done a bit of digging, and we found out that there was an explosion, and if I'm saying it right, the colliery. So it was a coal factory around where I live, and the roads that they used to drag the coal went right along our streets here. Anyway, apparently there was, if you look up on Google, the Black Mine explosion. It was in 1840 something, I think. But it comes up first on Google, and it was in Hyde, which is where I live, which is spelled Hyde. So I looked into this and found out that there was this explosion and 17 people were killed in this. The youngest on the list on that website, the youngest was 13, and the ages ranged from 14 then right up to 17 that lost their lives, and then the rest were adults, which just completely blew me away. I couldn't believe it. So it turns out that these are all the houses that the families lived in, and the business was at the back of me, I think. So it was all this end and that was affected. I haven't had the chance to further investigate, like go into it fully, because there's so much, as you can imagine, all the history of it and years of it and other profiles that have been set up and, by historians and councils and whatnot. So I haven't had the chance to go through it all, but yeah, absolutely crazy. So the word I was trying to think of before was like the mine shafts. So my husband said, do you think that's why our cellar is covered up? So I don't know why. Every house on my row has got cellars, and I think there's about 2 of us that have our cellars covered, and everyone else's are opened up. So I don't know why. I don't know why that's happened, why ours has been covered or anything like that. All I know is there was doing some building work behind me, sort of on the land where the coal mines and everything was. And something happened with pipes, and all these smells were coming up through everybody's cellars. They had to move everybody out and put them in a hotel for a week while they sorted it out. But my cellar has always been closed off. I can see under my stairs where it is. I could dig it out, but there's no point because I've been in next door's cellar, and you know, you'd have to have a lot of money to get them back up to standards, and I'm not doing anything with it. So yeah, I'm leaving that one alone. But it's crazy to think that I suppose it's nice finding a little bit of history, but obviously that was such a sad day for a lot of families. When I was reading about it, like, you know, there was a lot of women left widowed with 8 children and things like that. One woman, she lost her husband and a son who was about 16-year-old. It's really sad, but yeah, it all happened pretty much where I'm sat. So it's crazy to think that this actually took place. And I know it took place all over the country with coal mines. I know that they were really, really dangerous places to work. But yeah, it's crazy what you find out when you do a little bit of digging. The other thing I wanted to say is, which I've actually said in my last story, my last video about this, before I knew any of this, when we've heard this voice, so me and my husband heard it first, when we heard it, and I said it sounded like our son, and it was mummy, but it was like, come quick, one of them, you know, and that's why he rushed, because he thought he were in trouble, he needed us or whatever. And then the second time I heard it, as clear as day, like from the same area, like in the house from where I was sat in my bedroom, and the exact same way. And it's just crazy. Yeah, so I don't know what to think. Like I said, I'm an open-minded skeptic. It's one of them, if I see it, I believe it. But I'm curious now to, you know, now we've sort of opened up to it a little bit. Because I said to my husband, now he's a skeptic, I said to my husband, do you believe, after knowing all this about the house, do you believe that it could be something connected, something paranormal? And he said 100%. And I was shocked. I was really shocked, because he said there was no explaining what we heard. There was no explaining it twice. So, yeah, I'll keep you posted if anything else happens, because we've sort of accepted it, and that sort of opens us up a little bit more, doesn't it? So I'm just waiting now to see if it does. It might not, but if it does, I will let you know.